Welcome to the Turndown. Forget the velvet ropes and strict rules of five-star service. We're heading to Santa Monica to speak with Charlie Lopez-Quintana, the Vice President and Managing Director for ETC Hotels, which includes the iconic Shutters on the Beach and Hotel Casa del Mar. A 15-year Ritz-Carlton veteran, Charlie is now championing laid-back luxury, a philosophy that tears up the traditional rulebook. In this episode, we dive into his vision to eliminate the front desk entirely and his conviction that a luxury hotel leader jobs includes cleaning rooms alongside the housekeeping team. But Charlie's biggest challenge isn't the competition, it's technology. He's risking everything to protect the human heart and soul of hospitality from AI. Will his unscripted, personalized approach be enough to keep the future of luxury feeling human? Let's check in. Charlie, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the program.
Likewise.
Thank you for joining today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I want to kick us off today with, I guess, our standard question, Charlie. I'm very curious. What's keeping you up these days at night?
You know what, Sebastian? It changes. It changes from Monday to Friday. But look, I for the most part, I sleep quite well. But if I need to pick something, look, there is always new things, whether it's important event, whether it is some staffing opportunities that we may have. It always changes. And then I also have a daughter in New York in college. So that also gives me a little bit of anxiety. But look, for the most part, I'm very fortunate and I sleep quite well.
That is fantastic. I want to, for the audience members who don't know who you are, where you are right now, maybe let's start where you are. You're in a beautiful property. Help us understand, Charlie, the, I guess, hotel operator in Santa Monica. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Well, I'm in beautiful Shutters on the Beach right now. I am sitting in a suite, and you cannot see the view that I have, but it's the beautiful Santa Monica Beach, palm trees, waves crashing. I see one surfer catching waves, so not bad. You know, it could be worse. It could be worse.
That's fantastic. What do you do there, Charlie? Help me understand, or help our audience understand what you do.
Yeah, well, my title says that I'm the Vice President and Managing Director for ETC Hotels. I like to call myself a cheerleader, right? And try to bring positivity and optimism to the organization. I like to walk around the hotels a lot and talk to the staff members and shake hands with them and with guests. That is something that I really enjoy the most. Obviously, there is a good amount of office work as well, and unfortunately some meetings here and there. But for the most part, look, what I do is try to bring a warm, pleasant environment to the organization and to the hotels.
I like that. Cheerleaders of my team, of my staff. That's a beautiful description. And for the ones who don't, I mean, Shutters on the Beach is very world famous, but there may be a few that don't know Shutters on the Beach on the program. How would you describe that property?
Yeah. Look, opened in 1994, when there was no luxury properties in the beach, really, not in Venice, not in Santa Monica. It was rare to see a property that offered luxury. But there was a bet of two owners, his two brothers, Tommy and Eddie Slatkin, and they had a vision, and that vision came through. Look, the hotel is iconic in the way it looks, and frankly, the name, Shutters on the Beach, was one of the biggest, talented decisions that was made back then. And then, frankly, has been the employees, the staff that throughout the last 30 years have made this place iconic. There was no service being provided to the level that this hotel provided. When you look at the A-list from a famous standpoint guest, I don't know who hasn't been at Shutters. Everybody has been at Shutters. But again, it's that laid-back California luxury that today perhaps a lot of people talks about, But back on the day, this didn't exist. Layback luxury didn't exist. Luxury was stuffy. Luxury was, like you thought you were going to break something walking through a lobby. And Shutters brought something totally different. A very homey interior design, beautiful rooms with a lot of accessories, books. It truly felt, in the vision that Tommy and Eddie had, like someone was entering their homes. And they wanted Shutters first and then Hotel Casa del Mar to feel as such, as someone entering their home, having a glass of wine, having tea, having whatever it was, but on a laid-back environment. We're at the beach. We are not, even when Santa Monica is a city, a small city, but a city environment, we happen to be, by the way, still the two only hotels on the sand, on the beach. There is not a road in between us and the beach. And that is where the laid-back service on the fun and the smile and have fun, which is part two of our values, believe it or not. One is a smile and the other one is have fun. Has nothing to do, if you would, with the typical integrity, respect, honesty. Two of them is have fun and a smile. And I think that goes with that charming delivery of service that Shutters has been known for. Is excellent from a luxurious service standpoint, but is also provided in a very laid-back, charming way, if I make sense.
Now, for the hoteliers and us, what are some of the numbers you can share? Number of rooms, occupancy, ADR, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah. Well, I won't tell you the ADR, but look, Shutters has 198 rooms, most of them overlooking, in some shape or form, the ocean. Occupancies where we always thought our ceiling was 80 to 83%. That's where we were consistently before COVID. I think COVID, the recovery from COVID is lagging a little bit. So, we are in the 70s now, but we never wanted to go beyond 82, 83, and we could. We always thought that to exceed or at least meet the guest expectations, we always had to have a little bit of room. Santa Monica for years and years has had a tremendous amount of demand, and to fill rooms, again, pre-COVID, it wasn't complicated. But we never thought that to go beyond 82, 83 was wise.
Okay. And your busiest days are the weekend, or help us understand sort of, the cycles at your property?
It depends. Look, again, Santa Monica, with the time, this didn't happen in 94, Sebastian, but with the time, everybody has heard of Silicon Valley in the Palo Alto Bay Area. But Santa Monica and around became Silicon Beach. So the amount of business travel that comes to this beach destination is actually unbelievable. So to tell you that the weekends are busier, perhaps yes, from a food and beverage standpoint, restaurants, etc. From an occupancy standpoint, I pretty flat, really, weekdays and weekends. Yes, perhaps Sunday night, Monday night are the sluggish ones, but from Tuesday to Saturday, pretty even.
Okay, and guests stay in average 2.5
but nights? 2.9 days is the average stay that we have.
That's amazing. I'd love to, before we continue on Shutter, because I'm sure you have plenty of questions, and I want to dive into luxury and how you particularly define luxury. How did you get to Santa Monica? I want to sort of rewind the clock a little bit and understand who's Charlie and what your background is in hospitality, because I'm sure you haven't recently discovered hospitality. You've been a hotelier from almost day one.
From the very beginning.
Okay.
I wanted to be a soccer player, though. It just didn't work out.
What happened? What happened?
Look, I was born in Bilbao, in the Basque Country, in the north of Spain. My grandma had a restaurant. She was the chef owner of a restaurant. My grandpa took care of the bar on the ground floor. And since I was very little growing up, I was exposed to the restaurant. My auntie took over eventually the restaurant from grandma, and then my dad decided to be a chemical engineer, and my other uncle decided to be a banker. So my auntie is the one that followed the tradition at home. That actually it goes beyond my grandma. My great grandparents are the ones that opened the restaurant, and it was a restaurant with 4 rooms, also on top. But it wasn't a bed and breakfast; it was a bed, lunch, and dinner. Long story short, since I was little, I was helping in the kitchen, whether I was, polishing silverware to drying china to polishing glassware. And with 14 years old, I was waiting tables already. I was a server on those days. On those days in Spain, there were no child labor laws like there are now. So, we were all pitching in, especially on the weekends, helping grandma. Then I moved to Barcelona, and I lived in Barcelona because of my dad's work for the rest of my life before I left Spain. And I wanted to be a soccer player, and I did have a bad ankle injury with 19 years old. Interesting enough, when I finished high school, I didn't want to go to college, and my father said, "Over my dead body." So the only thing that I could think of actually was hospitality industry. So I did college tourism and hospitality industries in Barcelona, and the rest is history. There was this amazing hotel being built post Olympics '92 that is called Hotel Arch, part of the Ritz-Carlton chain. And in Spain, when you do tourism, you also need to have 18 months of stamps in back on the day. I don't know how it is now of practice, right? So look, I applied to. I was the shiny penny hotel in Barcelona, every famous, and you will see it in TV and everywhere. So I started to work there parking cars, which I think it was great that I didn't go into the F&B arena, because the F&B is something that I have in the blood. And the fact that I studied within the rooms division, I think has helped me during my career to round up a little bit my operations background. So look, I did ballet, bellman, doorman, bell captain, and eventually the company asked me about 3.5 years after if I wanted to go to Dubai. And I said, "Where?" Dubai. I said, "What is that, Dubai?" It's amazing that today everybody and their mother knows where Dubai is and everything, but not back in '98. Dubai was starting to be a vision for the Sheikh on those days. And look, a wonderful experience. I opened the Ritz-Carlton in Dubai and was there in and out because the summers were very hot, so we would go on task force. But in and out for about 2.5 years, and then there was an opportunity. I met my wife at the time in Dubai, and she was American, and there was this opportunity to come to open the Ritz-Carlton in Half Moon Bay, which is south of San Francisco in the Bay Area, and I came and I was there for about 8.5 years in many different positions within the rooms division. And then there was an opportunity to come and open this resort as in LA County, South LA County, called Terranea, which was really like Half Moon Bay, but on steroids. I said bigger and it looked so Mediterranean. And the name was Terranea, which is the middle of the Mediterranean world. And I felt identified with that project. So I left Ritz-Carlton after 15 years, almost 15 years, and I opened Turndown. I was there for 8.5 years on the executive director position and running everything operations. And then eventually, also you get this call to, hey, do you know this hotel called Hotel Casa del Mar? I say, well, I've been competing against them for a number of years, so yeah, I'm very aware of them. And, it's, I guess 8 years is that amount of time that, like, hey, why not? Let's try something different. And I came to Santa Monica 2017. I was the GM at Casa del Mar, and then I became the general manager at Shadows on the Beach. And then I guess I was at the right place at the right time when my predecessor, my boss, and one of my mentors retired in 21. And for the last 4 years, I've been running these two hotels in the luxury space, but we also have another hotel next to Casa del Mar called Bayside that is more on the limited service 3-star level, but super cute as well, and with great views, amazing location by the beach as well. So, yeah. So I thought, I hope I didn't talk too much, but I gave you a little bit of everything on my journey.
No, it's quite a journey. It's very similar to mine, although I did take a departure at some point. I worked in London in you went to Dubai in 98? Yeah, I went to London in 99. I was revenue manager for the Howard and Browns at a luxury that then became Raffles shortly after. And then did an opening in 2001 in Berlin for a 5-star hotel, a Swiss hotel at the time. And then, I was 30-something and left hospitality. But I'm still in travel. I'm still in travel tech. I aspired at some point to become general manager. So now I'm talking to you. You could have been my future, which is too funny. So, yeah, I don't know. At the time, I'm also a nerd for background. So I felt attracted by technology. And this is sort of what my second passion is, besides hospitality, which is why I ended up. But a lot of the things you said resonated with me a lot. So thank you for sharing. Ritz-Carlton, what a school. I mean, if there is any, it is, right?
The best in many different ways. I explained this before in another interviews that I had, but I was one of the lucky ones that got the pre-Marriott school and then the Marriott school. Totally different, right? I think I understood operational excellence from a service standpoint on the pre-Marriott days. And then I understood operational excellence from an efficiencies standpoint on the Marriott days. So I think I was very, very fortunate from that standpoint. Look, I remember when I was in Barcelona on my early days as a line employee that they will pay, if you wanted to learn another language, they would pay for it. And then obviously they had the internal trainings on total quality management. It was unbelievable. I was very lucky to that when I went to open Dubai, the company went for the Malcolm Baldrige Award for a second time in '99, and actually Dubai was chosen on one of the hotels to be inspected. We just had opened, so I was very involved on that journey. And look, everything you could talk about, it was quality. There was not really any type of cost controls or anything like that. It was everything about how to go above and beyond and how to provide an experience that nobody else was delivering, right? So, look, I'm very fortunate, as I told you. But then, look, on the other side of things, at the end of the day, this is an enterprise and it's a business, right? And we need to learn how to provide owners with a return on investments, and I think I got that side of things as well. And then at Terranea and here now with ETC in Santa Monica, you continue growing, you continue learning. I think it's one of the most fascinating things, if you would, of life, that you don't stop learning and you keep it interesting throughout the years, independently of what position or what responsibilities you hold. I think that learning, constant learning, is something that still gets me going to this day.
Do you think, you've seen both sides of this story, right? You've seen independent hotels, you've seen corporate hotels, you've seen corporate hotels where luxury and quality is the number one philosophy, and then you have also luxury where efficiency is more important. When you think of delivering luxurious guest experience, is it easier to do that as an independent hotel or as a branded hotel?
I think it depends on the brand. Sebastian, look, I think independent hotels gives you an entrepreneurship level that goes above and beyond a brand. Frankly, I am corporate because I work directly for the owners, and we make the decisions together. And they only get involved actually from an interior design standpoint. They are very invested in the way the hotels look and feel. It's a passion of theirs, and they are very good at it. But operationally, they just really don't get involved. So frankly, I get to make decisions. And I've learned, talking about learnings earlier on, I refine what I see. I travel and I try to stay in the best hotels of the world, and I see things that I see, oh wow, why I didn't think of it. And then the next question is, how can you do it better?
Do you have an example? I'm very curious. Like, what was the last thing you noticed somewhere?
Many. Look, from Wi-Fi to technology. You were telling me that you like the technology side of things. I think I look at a software and I said, okay, is there any rival that they have that is better than this? Or can I call them and tell them, hey, I would like to change this, and change that. Can you do that? And some of them tell me, yeah, that's easy. Some of them are like, oof, no, we need to go into the back end and change this to match. So they put you roadblocks. But those that have an open mind and want to make things better, they do. A simple, I don't know, without it, I remember I'm a runner. I do triathlons now, and I used to run marathons. Now I do triathlons, but that first day that I was in a Ritz-Carlton visiting, and the doorman gives me a towel and a bottle of water. That was the first time in my life. I said, well, how can I make it better? So I did a cart with water, towels, and Gatorades with a little frame that says, welcome back, joggers, and these are little examples. The look and feel of a guest room too, when this technology of lighting and privacy signs that you see on the new hotels being built already with this infrastructure from a technology standpoint, hotels that are already built is very complicated, right? But still, from a functionality standpoint, how can you do it better? So the beautiful thing on something that you are gonna build, or a new system that you want to, like at Shutters and Casa, we just finished with this privacy sign light instead of the old privacy sign, and you have lighting controls on the beds that we didn't have before. You have USB and USB-C now in both hotels next to the bed and all that. But when we were thinking about how to do it better, I will actually go to hotels that have built it, and I didn't like the location. Perhaps it is the positioning, the height of where everything goes. You still see hotels being built or having built recently that have the outlets a foot from the floor instead of being, and I don't understand why. So look, it's little things like that at the end make the whole experience. From a room service, pick up a little sign. Now you have the technology ones. I always look at what is out there. Banquets, glassware, silverware, chariots, everything that you see out there, you are like, okay, I'm not going to buy the same thing, but I have an idea of what I want to do. Those are, and I hope for a specific examples standpoint, TVs, speakers in the guest rooms. Well, do you want to have a speaker that can be moved, or do you want to have, a surround system being built in the guest room so there is nothing that is blurring, right? So I think that, which we're underway in our suites. We finished with the lobbies. Both lobbies in both hotels now have an amazing surround system, sound surround system, and make a difference. And I said, well, the next is the suites. Why do you want a speaker that can be moved, around when you can have 6 of them that you don't need to buzz the volume up and everything comes. So look, that's those are things that we work on and we try to do better. And to your question, is it easier in independent? Is it easier in a brand? You see, to do some of the things that I just told you in a brand sometimes requires 3, 4, 5 different individuals to say yes. Because it goes to your regional boss, and then the regional boss has another boss that has an opinion. And then after you have, from a brand standpoint, agreed to it, then it comes the owner of a hotel. And the owner of a hotel may say, oh, I love it. That's great. Or we say, you guys are crazy. This is not what I want. So then you go back to the start, right? And you need to, in my environment today, from a capital project standpoint, from improving the product, is much easier because there is the team here brainstorming, perhaps refining, like I was telling you, things that we see elsewhere. And then that goes to an owner that, for the most part, doesn't really get involved unless it has to do with the look and feel of a hotel from an interior design standpoint. It's much easier. Obviously, there is a person that the owners do trust also that works with me from everything that we buy and everything that we improve throughout the hotel. But other than that, it's much more simple. It's much more simple.
And it can create amazing experiences for guests then as a result of it. How do you look at your particular properties at loyalty, right? Like when we think of big branded hotels like Ritz-Carlton or, pretty soon we think of Bonvoy, we think of loyalty, we think of earning and burning points, right? And many corporate guests, end up using their points to stay in a luxury destination because they want to reward themselves. How do you think of loyalty as, an operator of independent hotels?
Yeah. Look, I can tell you how I think, but before that, I need to tell you it's very difficult to compete with owners, Marriott, Bonvoy, especially those two, like you were saying, people that business travel and then those points become the leisure vacation and they go to they use those points in another hotel or resort of the brand. It's extremely difficult to compete with that. Yeah, we're fully independent. We're also part of Preferred Hotels and Resorts. So from a sales and marketing partnership standpoint, we partner with them and we are pleased those far. We do have a program called I Prefer that has been developed and we're trying to, from a points standpoint, to award. Now, what I think of loyalty is someone that takes care of you in a personalized way. And I think even from my early Ritz-Carlton days, that some of the bigger brands were starting this points culture that has been created. We always thought that the best points culture was to deliver the best service and to make sure that personalization was always there. And then if they have these likes, that those likes were found in the guest rooms through guest preferences. And there was a very strong guest preference environment. I remember when I was at Bellman, it was that pat little booklet that you've had in your uniform, and you will write things that you will notice that a guest will like, and before computers, and then there was the old databases that were built in Word and then Excel, and then those things. Well, today there is this, and you are very techy, Sebastian. Today you have these amazing CRM software solutions that have all the information for you. But you see, that focus is what loyalty is to me. Having said that, humans will like things for free, right? So, I think the points culture that were created by the big brands is here to stay, and it's extraordinarily difficult to compete with that. But again, Prefer has its own program. I Prefer, as I told you, and And we, from a service standpoint and trying to anticipate guest needs and try to deliver those likes and dislikes, we continue focusing a lot. I think the guest relations part of the pre-arrival phase continues being, in my opinion, the most important phase of the stay, even more than the stay itself. Everything that you can find out pre-stay, if you can execute and implement those findings, that's what is going to, especially on the ultra luxury space. I think those individuals care a little bit less about points, right? They know what they want, and if you are able to deliver that, you have luxury. Now, it's perhaps of the entry luxury, upper upscale part of the marketplace where points are important. In the ultra luxury environment, those suite bookers, presidential suite bookers, penthouse bookers, that's not important. What is important is how are you going to bypass the front desk? These people don't want to come to the front desk. Well, it's front desk. What is the front desk? Forget about it, right? So that's something that we are implementing now, a beautiful partnership with a company, software company, that, interesting enough, I was checking in a hotel in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia last year, Sebastian, and I saw it. And obviously they knew we were hoteliers. We were on a sales trip with Prefer, actually. And, I see this tablet at the front desk, and the guy, plugs the tablet, there was a little wire that goes to the main computer, and takes the tablet and takes me to the room, and the reg card is there and everything is there. I say, well, I don't think I've seen this to this level in North America. So I got the information of a company, and that is actually based in India, although now they have an office here in the Bay Area, San Francisco. And we are starting January 5th training on it. And, I have a dream, and the dream is that I will have a hotel without a front desk at one point. I don't know when that is, but that's my dream, Sebastian, that there will be no front desk. Look, there will be a desk for your guest relations team, concierge, whatever you want to call it. Those are semantics. But it will not be a front desk.
I support you full-heartedly at this. Like, for me, the front desk, at least the function of a front desk, right? The check-in and check-out function are things that we need to solve for. We need to disappear. It was so funny as you were talking about points, and I was thinking about my travel experience. I spend a lot of time in airplanes, unfortunately, right? And for me, points almost become a transactional value, right? Because I can use it for my personal flights, my personal, when I fly on business, and then I book a weekend trip. It's very transactional. Now, I'm at the highest tier of my airline. At the highest tier, I don't feel recognized as the most important customer. It's terrible. It's a terrible experience, right? And maybe that's an airline thing more so than anything else. In hotels, I don't have loyalty because I stay mostly in independent hotels. So sorry, Marriott and Hilton, I'm really sorry. I try to sort of discover independent hotels.
We love everybody like you that think like you.
Exactly. We're all the heck. But I'm also one that discovers things. I'm curious, you've been in luxury accommodation for the last 20 years. How has the definition of luxury evolved?
From a look and feel standpoint, or from overall experience?
Let's start from a guest perspective, guest experience perspective.
Yeah. Look, I think you need to make it as seamless as possible. If they want to be in the flip-flops in the lobby, be it. If they want to have breakfast at 12 noon and you have switched off ready to your lunch menu, but they want an omelette, you give them an omelette. If it's trying to avoid having an hours of operation environment in which no, so sorry, we're not serving breakfast anymore. Well, that's not luxury. Luxury is, well, look, I I want a cheese omelette right now. Why I cannot have a cheese omelette? Are you kidding me? And interesting enough, you go to some luxury hotels today, and they will tell you, I'm so sorry, we're not serving breakfast anymore. You see, that's not luxury. Luxury is that the guest is going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. That's a way that for me, and in their own terms, look, as long as it's not, I learned this long time ago on my early Ritz-Carlton days, as long as it's not illegal, immoral, or what is the other one? It's not coming to me. It'll come to me. But if it's not unsafe, if it's not unsafe, illegal, immoral, there is one more, but it's not coming to me now. As long as it's within those boundaries, if you would, look, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Now, that doesn't mean it's for free. There is a price tag to luxury, but if the guest is willing to pay for it, you deliver. You deliver.
So, in order to deliver this, which I would define as flexibility or flexible experience, right? Like when you talk about having breakfast at lunch, right? Or, walking around in your flip-flops, what do you train new staff? You train that flexibility that, is that what is being focused on right now?
Yeah, one of our service values is I will make it happen. Service is kind of like the typical never say no. The way we phrase it is I will make it happen, sir. And that's a culture that you need to teach from day one in orientation. There is nothing impossible. Now, it doesn't mean it's for free, but there is nothing impossible, and I'm going to do my utmost to make it happen. And look, and if it's impossible, what is the closer I can get to it? What alternatives am I going to find that the guest is going to be happy with? And yeah, it's one of our service values.
That's beautiful. I want to do a quick rapid fire question and then talk about the future, right? And there's a lot of, amazing things happening, especially in the US.
Yes.
We have to talk about football. We have to talk about, travel trends.
They call it soccer. Sebastian.
I don't understand.
Me neither.
I mean, football
me neither.
for me.
Me neither.
Right?
Would be football until the day I die.
You mentioned triathlon and marathon, but I'm very curious. What's one ritual you never skip when you think of work? Your weekly executive meeting or the daily stand-up?
Daily stand-up. The executive meeting is useless from a service standpoint. Executive meeting is more to talk about financials, talk about perhaps some capital projects, perhaps about some opportunities that we may have from a staffing standpoint, things like that, right? But what is fun is the daily stand-up. I try to go at least to 3 or 4 a day. I have my own one. Actually, the GMs have their own ones, but I attend that. And then I try to go, kitchen 3 p.m., housekeeping 8 a.m., restaurant, if I'm early one day at 7, I love the breakfast one at 7. We have a 4:30 restaurant one before we do service at 5. And now we introduce that I should have done it a long time ago, but silly me, I didn't. We had these amazing lineups in the morning, but then the PM shift will come and will not get the same intensity of a lineup. So we do a PM shift behind the front desk now in both hotels. That is F&B, rooms, and a spa combined, and extremely powerful to communicate. Look, because we have the typical pass downs, but that it will be within a department, right? The front desk will pass down AM to PM. Guest service is the same, restaurant the same, room service. But we didn't have this all of us together environment, right? Look, they are the most fun, and I think that's where the magic happens. I think that is where you inspire and motivate. That the most fun of our job is to be a leader and to inspire and motivate. When you are a manager, which are things that we need to do as well, it's not fun. But look, everything that has to do with coaching in the right direction, inspire and pump up everybody. I told you at the beginning of it about being a cheerleader, and I do that in lineups. That is what the best time to do it. Actually, a lineup that I love is a banquet lineup of a dinner, usually around 5:45, 6 p.m. before service. I love the excitement that our banquet manager puts into it. So is one of them that I try to go as well.
What's the biggest threat to modern service?
To modern service? Well, look, everybody talks about AI, everybody talks about technology. I think in the luxury, ultra luxury space, I think if we are not careful, we will destroy the heart and soul of hospitality. Is the face-to-face, the engagement, the smile, that server coming to with your coffee, your glass of wine, your tea, whatever it is, with a smile to the table. There is something that we focus now, that is the plus one, something that Forbes Travel Guide put into our vocabulary. But if you deliver something, what is the plus one to that? So the typical example, which is the best, if someone asks for a toothbrush, are you going to deliver a toothpaste? Are you going to perhaps deliver fluoride with it? If someone asks for a shaving kit, are you going to be perhaps a little aftershave? Look, things like that. If someone orders a coffee, are you going to deliver a little cookie, a little biscotti, whatever your standard is, depending on the hotel. I think the plus one is one of the most wonderful things that is out there. If we stop this, in a sense that, a luxury to someone that is 18 years old today is going to be different to what I perceive as luxury. But I still think, and I hope that when I retired and the new hoteliers figure out what the new definition of luxury is in a hotel environment, I hope that they haven't touched any of what I just told you, right? That continues being it, because it's what I believe on. So for me, I struggle thinking that the future is going to be more driven by a machine, if you would. Complicated. And it goes back, and this is a conversation that I have with my hotel peers at times. It's like having this sensor opening the door for you in a luxury hotel instead of a doorman. You're going to save 3 FTEs a year, and you put that into dollars. And then you're going to have still someone open the door for you. It's just not a human. It's just a sensor, right? Whether it's a revolving door, whether it's a door that opens by itself, still there is not a smile there. Still there is not a good morning there. And I think when we think about technology, we need to go back to these sensors in the door. That's when and you stop having doorman in many hotels. And they still charge luxury prices. But you don't have a doorman opening the door and saying good morning to you. I'm so sorry. I don't think that's, yes, you're going to save 3 FTEs, but I don't think it is what I perceive, at least as luxury, ultra luxury.
On a resume of somebody you're considering for a role in your property, what wins or which wins? 5 years of experience in a cool independent boutique hotel, or 2 years at Four Seasons?
Depending when it was Four Seasons.
Okay, so what happened at Four Seasons?
I think is companies, when they get too big, things fall through the crack. I think if you tell me the Four Seasons of the late 90s, early 2000s, that is a strong resume. I don't know if 2 years is enough, Sebastian. I don't think 2 years is enough anywhere in order to in order to be immersed in a powerful culture like Four Seasons. And I never worked for Four Seasons, but the amount of friends and people that I've worked with that came from Four Seasons background, you see the quality of the individual. And the quality in the individual is because of the learnings, like we were talking earlier on with Ritz-Carlton, right? That you get. I need to tell you that perhaps none of them. I think I want to see the quality of the individual as a whole, values as a whole. It needs to be a true extrovert, someone that enjoys people. You were telling me that you are more on the nerdy side. Nothing wrong with it, but if I'm looking at you, and I'm not saying you are an introvert, usually nurture, but I shouldn't profile. But if I look as a leader of one of my hotels, it needs to be that cheerleader extrovert that has no issue in taking the jacket off and clean a room with a room attendant when needed, has no issue to buzz a table when needed, and it does it with a smile and loving it, right? Now that comes if you have grown through the ranks and you've been something that is very important to me, Sebastian, when you were saying 2 years with Four Seasons or 5 years in an independent, well, it doesn't matter. I will tell you, have they been a line employee? Or did they start straight in management? And I look at that.
So
shift.
I'm guessing why you think it's important, but please explain what you mean by that. Meaning,
I don't think
why is it so?
Yeah, it's very simple. I don't think you understand what an employee feels if you haven't been one. I don't think you will understand how an employee feels when you are coach and counseling them. I don't think you feel how an employee feels when you inspire them and you motivate them. And you need to know how someone made you feel in order to make someone eventually, as you grow in your career, feel that way. You see, for me to have mentors from the very beginning, whether I was your department head manager or your division head or your GM, but you felt it at a line staff level is extremely powerful.
That makes sense. Looking ahead, in 26, we will have some major events, leisure events happening in the World Football. What is it called? World Soccer Club?
Yeah,
no, what is the official?
Yeah. It's football, Sebastian, like you were saying.
It's football. Correct.
Look, very excited, very excited. We have 8 games in LA.
That's amazing.
First one is June 12th, which is the opening game for the US. So US have 2 games here in LA. And then we have 3 more of the qualifying, of the qualifying groups. And then we have 2 round of 32, 1 round of 16, and 1 quarterfinal. Oh no, 1 round of 8 of final and 1 round of quarterfinals. Now is having a senior moment. I don't remember that exactly, but 8 games. 8 games total. Super exciting. And most exciting, city council member, and I'm city council members of Santa Monica, and I'm giving you something that is very, very recent as this week. They passed for 7-0 that Santa Monica is going to become a fan fest. So we're going to have 30th Street Promenade at a discussion with a couple of countries to be the fan fest for LA, which makes all the sense. I mean, LA, for those that don't know, LA is inland, but LA County, has Santa Monica as the premier beach. So it only makes all the sense in the summertime, the fan fest to be by the beach. I went to Rio in 2014 and I saw Spain-Chile in Maracanã. And we lost 2-0, but that's a long, sad story. The most fun was to be in Ipanema Beach all day, pre the game. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish in Santa Monica. I'm the chair of Santa Monica Travel and Tourism, leading actually to this World Cup, and we're working together with city officials. We have an amazing new city manager, and then we're going to make Santa Monica super fun. And then it's going to go beyond the World Cup into some beautiful, amazing concerts that we're going to do on the beach here. Actually, with the ones that do and the concerts in Coachella Valley. So the city is partnering with them. And then we have 27 Super Bowl, Sebastian. That is February 27. And then we have the Olympics. So there is so much happening. And that look, we are extremely lucky that we are in Santa Monica, and Santa Monica is poised, and our company is poised to deliver great service and great experiences through these very, very important dates that we have in the calendar coming up.
That's amazing. Now, what's your favorite team? Who you're following? Who you're endorsing? It must be Spain.
No,
right?
for sure. There is no other team.
Okay.
Now, if someone else needs to win, I will go with the U.S. My two kids were born in San Francisco, and I need to tell you that they will follow Spain too. But if we need to default to a second team, that will be the U.S. Yes, which will be an amazing surprise and upset. But and actually, the coach of the U.S. is Mauricio Pochettino. I'm an Espanyol fan, Espanyol of Barcelona. That's the team that I follow in Spain, the club that I follow. And Mauricio was our coach, but also was our player for many, many years. So, that even more reasons to support the U.S. if Spain doesn't make it.
That makes a lot of sense. So you have an amazing destination, Santa Monica. You have a fan mile that will be there for 3 months or almost 3 months or 2 months?
It's actually going to be, leading to, I think it's 5-6 weeks, what I heard.
5-6 weeks. Okay. That's amazing. You have in the Super Bowl happening. Are there any headwinds right now that you're tracking? Anything that worries you?
All of them have been headwinds for the last 2 years. So now we are going to change the narrative to tailwinds. I don't want to hear, frankly, I don't want to talk about headwinds, Sebastian. Everybody knows about the devastating fires that we got at the beginning of the year. Political environment in the U.S. hasn't been the best, definitely, during the last couple of years. We are talking about tailwinds, and tailwinds is all these events that are happening in the LA area. Tailwinds is a new city manager with a wonderful vision for the city. Tailwinds is all the money that the owners of these two hotels are putting in the hotels to ensure they stay fresh and looking great. Is constant the amount of money that the owners pour into these two hotels. So it's all about tailwinds. And then we have an amazing culture and team members. I don't know if we said this yet, Sebastian, but the average tenure of our employees is beyond a decade. And this is unheard of in the hospitality space.
That is unusual.
We have employees at Shutters retiring now that they are opening members of 94. How cool is that?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So it's only tailwinds, Sebastian. We talk about tailwinds. There are no headwinds in the horizon.
Yeah. All right. I'll remove it from my vocabulary. I'd like to close off with a recommendation you have to someone that is right now considering a role in hospitality. Think of your own self, right? I mean, you chose hospitality because your dad forced you to it, right? But imagine somebody is considering a role in hospitality. What recommendation do you have for him or her?
Make certain that you're a servant at heart. Make certain that you enjoy making people happy. Otherwise, do not join this industry. If touching people's hearts, if making someone's day, if surprising and delight is something you don't get immense joy on, don't join this industry. Do yourself a favor. Just don't do it. It is about touching people's emotions. What makes this industry special? So I guess that is the advice I will give. Look, I will also like that at one point in your career, spend time either in the kitchen, in stewarding, or in housekeeping. Whether it's as a line employee or as a leader, I think those three departments are, in my opinion, the heroes and third heroes of the hotel. All the front of the house, I spent I spent that time all over, but most of it in the front of the house. I did have about 5-6 very rewarding years in housekeeping, and I did polish my share of silverware when I was little. But I think those years, in fact, make you stronger as an individual. It widens your heart, and it just makes you a better person.
Charlie, thank you so much for joining the program. Really appreciate your thoughts, insights, and stories. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for your time. It has been an honor. And Sebastian, when your travels take you to LA, I hope you know where you are staying next.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe to avoid missing the next episode. It helps us produce better shows and get the most interesting guests. Thank you for your support.